Good morning, guys. Welcome to Station 3 Productions. Welcome to episode 2 of how to raise birds successfully. And man, I got a terrible cold. Ugh. Stick around, stay tuned, and I'll show you what we got going on. Alright, guys. In this episode here, we're going to talk about some of the differences between breeding birds and your pet birds. Now, believe me, there's some huge differences between them. Like, we'll take this for example. We'll come over here to my cockatiel. This one right here, the house pet. I don't know if she's going to come out today or not, but maybe. I don't know, maybe not. Well, anyway, we got the pet. I showed you yesterday. You know, once you get them hand tamed, you know, you can take them out, put them on your finger, your shoulder, whatever. Walk around the house, you know, do all that good stuff. You know, and if you keep that bird for any length of time, you know, you keep working on that bird, you know, every day or every other day or whatever, and let this go on for an extended period of time, say 5, 6, 7 years down the road or whatever. And then one day, you know, you get this idea, well, geez, you know, I've had my birds for a while, I've learned a little bit about them, I want to try breeding them, I want to try that out. And most of the time, after you've had birds for a little while, everybody goes into that. They at least try it once. But when you do that, this is where the problem comes in play. You've had your bird, it's a pet, it's been hand tamed, there's been human contact with your bird every day or every other day or whatever it is, for however long you've had this bird kind of sort of inadvertently looks up to you as its mate. Alright? So what's going to happen is, when you go to put this bird with another bird, you know, to try breeding it, it's not going to happen. Because, like for cockatiels, for example, once they find their mate, they're usually mated for life. And, like in this situation, like with my pet over there, if I were to, you know, mate that bird with another male, chances are it would never happen, because, like I said, I've had this bird for so long. Actually, I think I've had this bird for 6 or 7 years or whatever. This bird only looks at me as a mate, so to speak. Now, if you were to even get lucky enough to breed this bird and end up with eggs, she's not going to know what to do with them, because what happens is you basically inadvertently take the wild part of the bird out, if that makes any sense to you. You kind of take, you know, the wild instincts out of the bird, because the bird will basically conform to how you do things, opposed to a wild bird doing its thing in the wild. Now, like for my parakeets, for example, we'll go over here. Now these birds, all of these birds are wild. Every single one of these pairs right here. And of course my cockatiels. Now, I can show you the difference in just real quick second, the difference. Now, if you watched my other video, you've seen that I'm able to take my pet bird It was sitting on my shoulder. She was sitting on the cage. I was able to pick her up. Really, really simple. Now, I'll try and do this with my cockatiels, and you're going to see a big difference from wild bird versus pet bird. Yeah, see, this is my male. Now, ow! And see, I took one for the team. See what I'm trying to say? Because this bird is wild, this bird is going with the wild instincts. Alright, right now, obviously, it's a, survival mode, because I got my hand in his house, and he's hitting me, trying to tell me to get away. Alright, I'm going to leave you alone. Oh no, that hurts. Oh no. So, with those guys, they still have the wild instinct in them, so, when you put the nest box up there, you're going to see a huge difference, because when they go to breed, and the female lays the eggs, all she's going to know is the wild instincts, to lay the eggs, to sit on the eggs, to hatch them, and of course, take care of them. And the same with the parakeets. I could come over here and do the same thing. Here. Now, if I don't have a tame parakeet right now, but you'll see the big difference, Here, hold on. I'll put you over there. Now, I put my hand in here, you're going to see that there's no tameness in here. These birds just, they're just trying to get away from me. It's a survival thing. So, and again, it's all going to boil down to what you want from your bird. If you want to breed birds right from go, then what you're going to want to do is buy wild birds already. Now, parakeets, if you go to a pet store, generally speaking, they're going to be wild. They can tell you all day long how they're hand tamed and they're this and that and the other. But with parakeets specifically, most every time they're going to be wild. So you're not going to have to worry about it. Now, if you go and you want to breed cockatiels, for example, you're going to probably have to go to like a local breeder, that has some breeding pairs already set up. So there's a big difference between, your pet and your breeding pairs. Now, so you have to, ask yourself right from go, what is it that I want from my bird? I just want a pet, which is cool with me. I've got a pet. Everybody has pets. Or do I want a breeding pair? And you have to ask yourself that right from Jump Street, because what's going to happen is you're going to have, well, let's just say you go and buy a parakeet. You've had it for a year. You want to try breeding. Just like I said a little bit ago, you're going to try to make that, set that bird up with another bird, and they're not going to be compatible, because like I said, you've already inadvertently taken, you took the wild out of the bird just from the interaction between you and your bird. So there's a huge difference between them. So you have to tell yourself that right from Jump Street. Breeding pair, wild bird. Pet bird, tame bird. You can't mix them. So this is how I've always been told. Breeding pairs are bad pets. tame birds are bad breeders. It's simply put, right there. So, you know, when you get into when you get into raising birds, just make sure you keep that in mind. If you know, you got to figure out what it is that you want from your bird. You want it to be a pet? Let it be a pet, but don't try later on down the road to turn it into a breeder, because they make poor breeders. And then vice versa. If you want breeders, you know, feel free, breed your birds. But again, later down the road, you say, oh, you know, I'm done with breeding, you know, or whatever. You can't expect them to turn into pets, because once they're wild, they're wild. That's from my experience. Now, you're gonna find other people who say different things, you know, about this type of stuff, but this is just based on my experience alone. So I wanted to come in here and make a video and make a point about that, so that everybody is on the same page and everybody knows the difference between them. And then, of course, you see the differences between them, so that later on down the road, you don't end up with poor results by taking your pet and trying to breed with another bird. You end up with poor results. And then the same the other way around. I took my breeders, I want to make it a pet, but all it does is bite me and fly around and this and that and the other. And again, I'm just letting you know up front where the differences are. So I think that pretty much covers it up for now. So until the next time, take care, stay safe. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, feel free. It's right up there. You leave your comments and questions below. And we'll see you on the next one. Take care.